Hey, I'm Tyson, resident music dude here at Tooz and T, and today we're going to check out the Circle of Fifths music theory songwriting tool and chord wheel by Tooz and T. Let's check it out.
All right, so we're going to try to keep this short and sweet and as simple as possible. Take a look at our layout here and see if we can get a feel for our wheel. So what we're looking at here is the key of C, which is built from the C major scale, which consists of the notes C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. And those are the notes that we use to build the chords that are in the key of C major. Those chords are C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, and B diminished. We also have the numerical values 1 through 7 on our wheel, the regular values representing the individual notes in our scale that will be combined to make our chords, and then the Roman numerals, both uppercase and lowercase, which reflect the chords we make using those notes, and we will take those chords and use those to build our chord progressions. We have our uppercase Roman numerals at the top, reflecting our major chords, and we have our lowercase Roman numerals at the bottom, reflecting our minor chords, and this basically helps to keep them separated and more easily distinguishable from one another. We also have that lonely little 7 chord off to the side by itself. That is our diminished chord. It is not commonly used in progressions or in compositions, but the note itself, that 7 note, that B note in this case, is very important to take into consideration when considering the scale and when using it to build other chords in our key. So to take a closer look at how we are building those chords, if you'll take a look at the major chords section, you'll notice that underneath each of our primary notes there is a regular numerical value. In the case of C, it is our 1, 3, 5, G, it's our 5, 7, 2, and F, it's our 4, 6, 1. These values are also there above our minor chords: A minor 6, 1, 3, E minor 3, 5, 7, D minor 2, 4, 6, and our B diminished off to the side, that's 7, 2, 4. And these values represent the individual notes that we will combine from our scale to make our basic 3-note triad chords. So if we take a look at our example on the right, we can see our C major, our 1, 3, 5 is made up of the notes C, E, and G. And we found that by referencing our Roman numeral 1, our Roman numeral 3, and our Roman numeral 5. But it is important to make the distinction that when you were referencing Roman numerals in a chord progression, you were talking about chords. And if you were referencing regular numerical values 1 through 7, you were referencing individual notes in the scale. And just to reinforce, our uppercase Roman numerals will reflect our major chords, and our lowercase Roman numerals will reflect our minor chords. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these common chord progressions we have listed for you at the bottom of the wheel. These are provided as examples just to get you started and to show you some of the various chord combinations that you can use to build some basic chord progressions. So we'll start with a very standard one here, this 1, 4, 5, and that's a uppercase Roman numeral 1, uppercase 4, uppercase 5. That tells us that all 3 chords in our chord progression are major chords. In this instance, it is a C major followed by an F major followed by a G major. Our next one begins with a lowercase Roman numeral, letting us know that our chord is minor, followed by uppercase 4, uppercase 1, uppercase 5. So in the key of C, that will be an A minor, followed by an F major, followed by a C major, followed by a G major. And then a couple more progressions listed following that same logic. C major, G major, A minor, F major, and then a E minor, C major, G major chord progression with a lowercase 3, an uppercase 1, uppercase 5. And again, these are just some common examples to show you how chord progressions are built and to give you a feel for the relationship from one chord to another and how they flow and function within a musical key and scale. And because of this, as you spin that wheel and change that key, you can follow the same chord progression patterns referencing the same Roman numerals. And although you'll be playing different chords built from different notes in different scales and keys, they will retain that same harmonic balance and function in relationship to one another. So let's go ahead and take a look at the back of the wheel. This is where we have all our relative minor keys listed for our major keys. Each major key has a relative minor key that can be found by referencing the sixth chord of the major key. The relative minor key will contain all the same notes and in turn build all the same chords as the relative major. However, the scale is built in a different order than the major scale. So if we reflect on the chord progressions we built in C major on the front of the wheel, we will recall that our sixth chord was the A minor, so the relative key to our C major key will be the key of A minor. So if we were to write out our A minor scale now, we would see it goes A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. So our A minor becomes our 1 chord, our B diminished becomes our 2 chord, our C major becomes our 3 chord, our D minor becomes our 4 chord, our E minor becomes our 5 chord, our F major becomes our 6 chord, and our G major becomes our 7 chord. And that is because although we are starting on a different note, we are retaining the same pattern and the same number of intervals in between notes when we are building our triads. So let's take another look at those chord progressions we built on the front of the wheel using C major, and in particular this one that started with the A minor. In the key of C major, that was a 6-4-1-5, but in the key of A minor, it is a 1-6-3-7. So this is an important thing to note and an important distinction to make, as your 1 chord generally serves as your tonic and will help you to properly categorize what key your song actually lives in. Although you could write both of these chord progressions in the key of C major and the key of A minor, both keys contain all of the same notes and chords used to build this chord progression. Because your A minor is your tonic, your 1 chord, this chord progression would be more accurately written out in the key of A minor. Conversely, if we look at our second example, originally written in the key of C major as a 1-5-6-4 with the chords C major, G major, A minor, F major, in the key of A minor, we could write this same progression as a 3-7-1-6. However, since our C major chord served as our 1 chord in the key of C major, this would be more accurately represented written in the key of C. We also have our key signature reflected on the back of the wheel. This is the number of sharps or flats in each key. You will notice that the key of C major and the key of A minor contain no sharps or flats, only natural notes. So knowing which keys contain sharps or flats and which sharp or flat notes they contain is a quick and easy way to identify what key you may be working in.
Oh, hey, welcome back. Pretty exciting stuff, right? Well, now you know the deal with the wheel. And hopefully you got a taste of that savory magic music theory sauce straight from the ladle. We appreciate you stopping by and hanging with us today, but we know you have some music to make. So get on out of here, bust out that wheel, and make some noise. We'll catch you next time.